In this tutorial, we're going to investigate modular synthesis starting at square one. We'll be using Cherry Audio's Voltage Modular Nucleus, a modular synthesizer system that comes with a library of modules specifically selected for analog synthesis. You can find a copy among CM's free plugin suite. Assuming it's installed and registered, we can fire it up and get started. Click the New button in the upper left to clear the rack. All of your available modules should be displayed in the column along the left side. If yours isn't available, click the Library button up top to reveal it. We're going to explore the essential modules used in a simple subtractive synthesizer patch, taking a quick look at each as we go. We'll cover individual modules in greater depth in future installments. Start by finding an oscillator and clicking Add. An oscillator module now appears in the rack. This is a typical analog oscillator like those found in many modular systems and countless analog synthesizers. You can't hear it at the moment, but it should be understood that an analog oscillator is always on, endlessly churning out waveforms. There are 5 jacks along the bottom of this oscillator, each labeled with a different waveform symbol. In a modular synthesizer, the synthesizer path is determined by the synthesist. If you want to hear the sound, you'll have to make a connection. This can be achieved using patch cables, albeit of the virtual variety here. Click, hold, and drag on the leftmost waveform jack to create a cable that you can drag up to the 1LM, M for mono, jack in the main outs module in the top row. The waveform being produced is called a Sawtooth wave. This one has a positive ramp, while the one to its right has a negative ramp. When used in the audio range, they sound exactly the same. Click on the jack at either end of the patch cable and drag it away to disconnect it. The Sawtooth waveform is the most complex of the waves offered here, offering both odd and even harmonics in addition to the fundamental frequency. Run a cable from the output second from the right to the main out's 1LM jack. This one is a sine wave. It's the simplest waveform, producing only the fundamental frequency with no added harmonics at all. As such, there is very little to subtract. Disconnect the sine wave and try the middle output. By default, you'll hear a square wave, which consists of the fundamental frequency plus some odd harmonics. This oscillator can transform this wave into a pulse wave by altering the relationship between the positive and negative cycles of the wave. We'll save that discussion for a later tutorial. Disconnect the square wave from the main outs. Let's add a filter module from the library. Route that same square wave output to the filter's audio in jack. Now find the filter's low-pass output in the bottom left and send that to the main out's 1LM jack. When we turn down the filter's cutoff knob, high frequencies are reduced. This is why it's called a low-pass filter. There are other types here, but we'll leave those for now. Let's put the cutoff back up and disconnect the filter from the main outs. It's time to get an amplifier from our module library. We'll patch the filter's low-pass output to its input and the amplifier's output to the main out's 1LM. Giving the amplifier's gain knob a nudge, we can hear the sound. We want to control that gain over time, which we can do by adding an envelope generator module. Route the envelope generator's envelope out to the amplifier's CV in. Push the envelope generator's gate button to trigger the envelope. Currently, the envelope generator is acting as an on-off switch, and that's about it. If we want to shape the sound, we can adjust the sliders. Try nudging the A for attack slider and pushing the R for release up about halfway. Now, clicking and holding the gate, you can hear the sound fade in and out. Find the CV Outs panel in the top left. Run a cable from its gate output down to its envelope generator's gate in. Now you can control the envelope generator via any connected MIDI controllers. To control the oscillator's pitch in the same way, you'll need to go to the same CV Out panel and run a cable from its pitch jack down to the oscillator's KEB CV or keyboard CV input. Congratulations! You've now completed your first basic subtractive synth patch.